Hello, in this video I'm going to demonstrate the use of enhanced for loop or generally called as a for each loop. Now this was introduced in Java 1.5 and it's very nice to work with collections using this loop. Let's begin by writing a program to understand that. So let's create a class called as program03. Now let's add a main method. Now let's say we want to work with an array. And this time I'll take an array of strings. Let's say string array names is equals to, and in curly bracket I can write some names. Let's say I write my name and couple of my friends and some random names. So I have here names. Now one of the way that you can print these names or loop through and access them is using a for loop, and you can press enter and instantly you get this for I is equal to 0, I less than names dot length, I plus plus, and then you will get one name is in this format by saying names of I, and then you will start working with that, hey, saying hello, for example, probably plus name. And then when you execute, you would get this output where you would have looped through all the values and then printed. Now, this is something that involves, at least as a developer, it involves a couple of bookkeeping. Number one is that I have to declare a loop variable. Number two, I need to check what is the length of the array. Then I have to use a loop statement to increment and decrement. And then I need to access that element using that index. Even though I'm sequentially accessing, I'm accessing in a random way. And then I'm processing. Now, all these things can be avoided by using this for each loop or enhanced for loop. So the keyword is for itself. So I have to write for and then type a data type of this element. Now since the element here is a string, so I have to specify that string. Now what is that? Individual element represents a name, so I can declare name. Now of course it generally is a plural collection, singular element. Now we need to say colon, what is a collection that contains the actual elements. Now in other words, you can read this as for each string name in names, and then use the block and then access this name. Now the for loop here will go through one element at a time and then gives me that element directly. So I don't have to use a loop variable. I don't have to check the loop the length of the array. I don't have to use an increment or decrement to go through or go forward. And then I don't have to access that element one by one because it is given to me one by one. And now I can just type here, say something like howdy plus name. And then I get the similar output as in the previous case. So it is looped through completely. Now this is not just limited with arrays. This is also going to work in a similar fashion with any iterable items. Now you would understand more on iterable items in the future sessions, but in order to understand what exactly it works with apart from arrays, I can use something like this. I can say a list of string, where list is supposed to be imported from java.util package. I'll call it as list equals to arrays.asList of names. So let's import from util. Now, when you got this list, now this is a data type. So we got some kind of collection here, which is not an array. So you can't really use something like for int I equals to 0, I less than list dot length, because list is not an array. However, you can still do that with the help of something like len equals to list dot size, and then you check here I less than len. Now this is perfectly all right, but then I'll have to access this in the form of something like string name equals to list dot get of I. So note that it is similar to an array in terms of accessing that. Once that is done, I can say here hello plus name. So I can say welcome. Some message. When I execute this, it would work in a similar fashion as in the previous case. However, I can avoid this and then do the same thing by using a for each loop, by using a for string. What is the name of the, what exactly this list contains? Since it contains a bunch of names, I can use name or I can say some string str in the list. So now this for loop will now go inside this list, get one element at a time and give it to me, and then I can print that as it is. So for example, welcome back, probably something like now str, it's no longer named there. When I execute this, it says welcome back and so on. So as you can see, I'm able to navigate through different types of collections, not just arrays, but of course through a collection also. Now it is very easy to work with and also has a simple notation. Now the Eclipse also provides an easy support for this. I can say for control space and I can specify for each iterate over an array or iterable. I press enter. You can see we got string in names because it knows that names is the element. Since I want it as name, I'll just type name. Now is it names or args? What do you want to loop through? We'll say names. I press enter and then I'll say hello plus name. And then execute this, and we get the output as in the previous cases.